Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to be going over the blue-purple Reiju leader from OP-06. This deck was very much kept in check in all of the 07 meta by the red-purple laws that were running rampant. Now that the red-purple law will not be featured in our upcoming OP-08 Western meta, this is a great time for this leader to show just why it was so good back in the start of 06. Now, we are running a pretty standard list here. I am splitting the deck with the Vinsmoke and the Foxy engine, of course. If you don't know, Porsche would be played out for 3 Dawn, Dawn -1. You can cheat out a 4000 power or lower purple card from your hand. It also does search top 5 of the deck as well for a Foxy card, which is why we're running 3 of the Tony Chopper blocker and 3 of the Gina. Now, this is a useless card. It is pretty much leader locked to Foxy, but it is a searchable 2K, so it's good to have a little bit of consistency when we do look at the top 5 with our Porsche. And of course, the chump blocker Tony Chopper is definitely great to just get an extra swing away from our face if we've been doing a lot of digging for some other cards. Now, we are running 4 of the Black Maria in this deck. I had a lot of thoughts about Black Maria and the blue-purple Reiju, and I was thinking about the amount of possibilities that you could do. You could be very aggressive early game and use your Porsche and cheat that into the Ichiji, which is basically your best combo. You would -1 for Porsche, cheat out Ichiji, -1 for the bigger Ichiji, and then you've established a 5k and then a 7k rush in the single turn. Now, that's not exclusive to this. You could also do the Niji here in case your opponent has a bunch of chump cards you want to remove, or if you want to send something of value back to hand with the bigger Niji. And if you do need a draw, you also have the option to cheat out the mini Reiju and upgrade to the larger Reiju as well, just to fill out your hand. But one of the great options for the Porsche is if you've been doing this Dawn minus pretty aggressively, which is kind of what you want to do with this leader, you're able to cheat out the Black Maria, who is able to ramp us 5 rested Dawn. And then at the end of the turn, you're going to return that Dawn until it matches your opponent's Dawn. So when you're playing a deck like the Pudding that we had showcased earlier, who is ramping pretty aggressively to 10, you can match their energy by playing out this Black Maria, and then on your turn, you'll also be at 10 to stack a bunch of Dawn or play out your Vinsmoke Judge, which I think is the best option. If you do hit the Sacred combo and you're able to cheat out this Judge, it is a phenomenal tempo swing as you can start getting these babies out of your trash onto the field and suit up into the larger bodies. Now, if you do know that you have that turn coming, I would recommend countering pretty heavily with the babies, as you need them in trash in order to use Vinsmoke Judge's effect. So that's something you definitely need to keep track of if that is a turn that you're looking towards doing. Now, it wouldn't be a blue deck without running a couple of these puddings. This is very, very good when you're playing into the Luffy, the black-yellow Luffy, or if you're playing into any yellow deck that really likes to just keep a large amount of cards in hand. You can't forget Pudding here. I would run this at 4 if I had room for the deck. That's definitely a little too much. I'm being a bit silly, but this is a great card, and I love to see it. We also have the Queen here at 2. This is just a great blocker, a larger body in case you're not really hitting your Vinsmoke cards early in the game. Now, this coupled with leader ability, you are Dawn minusing 1, and with leader ability, when you minus a Dawn from your field, you are drawing an extra card once per turn. So that's basically turning our Queen ability into a Dawn -1, draw 3, trash 1, which is really great to filter your hand. And then, of course, we need this stage to really get things online, but I've played plenty of games where I don't see it, and sure, it is rough, but you can still get through things. We're going to go ahead and move into some gameplay here. I'm very excited to show you this Reiju, as it is one of the contenders for what I'll be using in OP-08, but enough chatting. Let's see exactly what this deck is capable of. And our first game of the day, we're going to play into the purple Kaido, which I find interesting because he does also get use out of that Black Maria. Now, they're choosing to go first. We have second here. I'm not the greatest fan of this hand, so I will mulligan. And the great part about that is that we do see stage, but not a lot of great prospects so far. But we'll get there, I'm sure. We do draw into the Reiju, which is going to be great fodder to filter out with our stage. We'll put that in trash and grab the large Ichiji, which I like to do whenever I can because this guy is very elusive. Now, I forgot to mention they did use the Searcher for their 1-Don turn, finding the Onigashima Island, which is what they're going to play for 3. We will give them the Queen here, just so we can stay relatively healthy as they play out the Onigashima and ramp an extra Don. So we do draw into the baby Ichiji, which is great, so we'll filter the larger one from hand. But we do whiff the search, unfortunately. So we'll return those to the bottom of our deck and start things off with a 5 from lead here to their leader. Hopefully they do take this so we can throw the 7 at them as well. And they do. I'm not sure if they do have a trigger here. It could be something like a Miss All Sunday, but wanting to ramp as much as they do, I doubt they'll play something like that right now. So we'll play out the baby Ichiji and we'll Don -1 to suit up. And we'll minus 2k to nothing, drawing into the baby Niji, swinging 7 at face next. So pretty happy to see them take the 5 there, as they also take the 7. So they do get the one-piece trigger. This is going to draw them into a Kaido and Linlin. Wow, I did not expect to see that. A lot of people were really worried about this card. I personally don't think it's the greatest. But maybe Kaido can see some relevance out of it. We'll see. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and pass to opponent. They are going to go up to 6 Dawn here. We'll see what they decide to do. They could put everything on leader and try to get rid of this Ichiji, which I wouldn't blame them. They start off by ramping with Onigashima, and they attach 1 to their Kaido. We could see a 6k come our way, and we do. I'm going to give them the Gina here. I just want to stay as healthy as I can because once they start using leader ability with Black Maria, it gets pretty tough. So they are going to play out the Queen blocker, -1 card, draw 2, and we'll see what they decide to filter out here. They give us a Brachio Bomber. Okay, interesting. So we do draw into the baby Reiju, which I'm going to play out outright first just to draw us a couple of cards. We'll Dawn -1 to suit up, and we'll draw a couple cards here and 1 with our leader ability as well. So we'll start by using the stage. We'll get rid of the other Reiju, and we'll take a Ichiji baby here because we do definitely want to see that when we see our larger Ichiji. Now for 3 Dawn, don't really have the best plays. Nothing from hand outside of an Niji to play, but none in trash. So we'll probably just do a 7 and 8 here. Try to see if we can get rid of that blocker. So we'll start by swinging 7 at face. If they decide to block 2k with Queen, we'll put 1 on it and go at the Queen. Or I could put 1 on the Ichiji and just keep up the pressure at face. We'll see what they decide to do. So they do decide to give us a Black Maria and a Kid. Now, giving us a Black Maria sort of tells me that they have another one because they'll probably want to get that out as soon as possible. So maybe we should be a little more aggressive with our Dawn minus so they don't really get any value from that once they play the Kaido Linlin. So we'll swing 8 next. They do decide to take that. And there's the All Sunday trigger we were talking about earlier. They do draw Rested Dawn after Dawn minusing 2. So they'll be at 7 next turn. Now we'll pass back to opponent here. We do have a pretty good size hand at 6 cards and 3 2Ks is pretty good for us. I do want to see if I can draw some more pieces. I only have the Reiju, and that's it as far as the large bodies and trash. So we'll see what they decide to do here. They could go aggressive into our Ichiji, which I'll allow. First is going to be a 6K. We're going to go ahead and give them the Gina for that. I kind of want them to swing into this, just so I could play it back out next turn because we will be at 6 Dawn. So we'll see what they decide to do. I'm not sure if they're going to use the Queen to swing. They might want to keep that up as a blocker. They are going to put 1 on leader, leaving 5 open, which sort of tells us that they're going to have another blocker come out. You know what? I'm actually going to block this with a 2K as well. And here we're definitely going to probably see another blocker. If it is something like a queen, which it is, they'll be able to filter their hand a little bit more. They Dawn -1 again, and they draw 2 cards. Let's see what they decide to get rid of. We could see a nice top deck here, and even if we don't, we do have the stage to filter that out. So they drop the Trafalgar Law, and we top deck into an Ichiji, which is pretty great. So we'll start things off by getting rid of it and grabbing another 2K, and then we're going to go ahead and play it out. But you know what? First, I'm going to do that just so we can get some better value from the -2K. So we'll play out the baby Ichiji. We'll Dawn -1 to suit up. Now, we could put it on the All Sunday and try to clear it, but I'm not really worried about them swinging pretty aggressively at us. So we'll just -2K to one of these queens, and we draw into one of our own. So let's see what we got here. We're going to start things off with I think a 6-6-7-7 is our best bet in case they want to try to use this other queen. I don't want them to get a free block from that, so we'll start with a 6 and see if we can filter some of the 2Ks from the 7 card hand here. So we do get a Black Maria that I'm pretty sure they had from earlier. We'll do another 6 with our Reiju here, and next is going to be the double 7s. So 6 again, we do get a Sanji 2K, and finally we'll wrap things up with a 7 from our Ichiji, which we could see a block here, and we do. And they give us another 2K in the form of X-Drake. If they think I'm going board, they're mistaken because I'm going face again. And we do get rid of the other queen. So we'll go ahead and pass to opponent. We'll be at 7 Dawn next turn, and we have a pretty good looking board. They are at 9. They could decide to do something like leader ability here after playing out a large body. They are at 10 Dawn now, so that's something to keep in mind for the Charlotte Linlin and the Kaido that I know that they have in hand. But if they do want to get something like that off, they probably shouldn't have been a little too aggressive with minusing Dawn with these Queen ability and the Miss All Sunday trigger. So we'll see what they decide to do. Opponent is going to start off with a 5K at lead. I am going to give them the Queen we drew into for that. We're going to see another 5K. They're going to get a Niji from me. And they're probably not going to swing with that blocker, as they do play out the Charlotte Linlin and the heal, and they should probably put this Reiju on our life. They're going to trash that Kaido Linlin that they weren't able to really get any value out of unless they have a second one, and heal us with the Reiju. Now we do draw into the Porsche. I could Porsche into something from stage. I'm going to go ahead and trash Niji with stage. And I'm going to grab the Reiju here. We do have one in trash still, even though they put one on our life. So we'll go ahead and play out the Porsche, Dawn -1. We do with everything from that. We'll move up these guys for later. And we'll cheat out the baby Reiju, drawing a card from our leader ability. We'll Dawn -1 to suit up yet again, drawing 2, and we do draw into the Ichiji here. So it's going to be 5-7-7-7. So let's just hope they don't block with this queen. Now what I could have done in hindsight is probably play out the Ichiji first to -2 to the queen. That would have guaranteed the no free block, but I am going to just do 7 here into face, which is most likely going to hit. And we'll see if the second one hits, and if it doesn't, the third one definitely will. So we did get a considerable amount of 2Ks here from them. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 2Ks from our previous swings. They do decide to take that as well as we play out the other Ichiji, Dawn -1 to suit up from hand, and we'll swing 7 yet again at their face. So the correct play last turn, ladies and gentlemen, was to play out the baby Ichiji first, -2K to the queen, and swing 5 with leader, which would have been 5-4, which wouldn't have been as free for them to get out of. They do use the jet gatling to get out of that one as they move their way into their 10 Dawn turn. And we have all the swings in the world next turn. They're going to swing 5 at us. I'm going to give them the Niji here. We still haven't taken a single hit. We're going to give them a 2K next. They are going to swing with the queen. We'll give them our last card from hand here. And 9K from Linlin is going to give us another hit. And they do play out the Kaido, which is unfortunate, but we do have 4 life, and they only have 3 cards in hand, so I'm not too worried about that. We're going to start things off with the Reiju. I'm going to Dawn -1 here and draw the big Reiju. We do see the Judge and the mini Reiju as well. I am going to just swing 7 here at face. Pretty much, again, guaranteeing yet another hit, I'm sure. But instead, they give us a 2K, 1K, and we're going to go ahead and play out the Chopper, ramp 1, and we're going to get rid of that Judge. I don't really think we have to worry about playing him, grabbing the Niji, and I'll pass here. Now, we could have played Judge next turn, but I just think with 8 Dawn, we could split and go for face if they don't have a blocker, so not really something I'm too worried about. Whatever they decide to do with lead, I'm going to take, as the Chopper is going to be an unfortunate casualty to this Kaido. Unless they can get rid of it, but I don't think this is really going to pan out too great for them. They are going to swing 12 at us, and then we'll just see another 12 from Kaido. I'm going to take that, drawing into the Porsche, and they'll swing 12. I'll just block. We didn't really even have to do that. Next is just going to be 9-9, but I'm probably just going to do 7. I don't think they even have that, so 7 here to lead. And they don't, so next is going to be everything on our Reiju character, and that's going to be a GG here for our first showing of the blue-purple Reiju. They did have the 2K, but just another 10 drop in hand. GG's to our opponent. We did draw pretty crazy here, and we were able to protect life. They weren't really able to get off anything, and we just kind of ignored board and went straight to face, so pretty great showing. We'll move into our next game here moving forward. And for our next game, we do have the black Lucci. I am going to choose to go first here. I hit 3 of these guys, which is great, but that's not a realistic hand, you know? So I'm going to have to mulligan that. We do see stage, and we do see the large Ichiji, which is always great to have in trash. So we'll play out the stage. We'll get rid of that large Ichiji, and we will grab into the large Niji as well, and we'll pass to opponent. Now, we do have the Queen, and we do have the Judge. I have a 2K in the form of the Foxy Reiju. They are going to play the Tempest Kick for 1 and Tempest Kick again, and they draw 2 cards filtering out their hand. I don't mind this, as I don't want them to use this later on for the reduction. So we'll use stage ability again, get rid of the large Niji, and we'll grab another one. So next is just going to be an 8K to lead, as I don't really want to play anything out that we could see taken care of next turn by something like a Lucci. They are going to use the Who's Who and the Khalifa to get out of this, which I did not see coming. They're probably worried about something like Pudding. That's fine with me. I don't mind if they get rid of the Who's Who and they do mill another Khalifa and a Kaku from their leader ability. So we're going to go ahead and take this just to see if we can find any pieces for our ability here. And we do see the Niji and the Reiju, and we drew into the babies here as well. So we're going to go ahead and, okay, I did not expect to see Fukuro here, but there he is. And he cannot be KO'd by effects. Got it. Okay, so I'm going to start with the stage ability, getting rid of the Niji. Now, I should have gotten rid of the Reiju. I don't think I really had to, though, because we're going to play it from hand, and we need to be at 5 cards. We do bottom deck 2 Black Marias. It's fine, though. I'm not really sure if we're going to need all that tempo right now. We're going to start things off by just going 5 here at this Fukuro. And they give us the Rebecca blocker. Next, we're going to go ahead and play out the baby Reiju, Dawn -1. We'll play the larger one from our hand, and we'll draw 3 cards. We still don't have that baby Niji, which is unfortunate. We are floating 3 Dawn here as well, as we're not able to play out a second Reiju. But these are just, the things we have to do. I don't think putting more Dawn on leader would have made a difference, because they did block with Rebecca anyway. But we do have the Ichiji combo next turn, so we'll just go ahead and pass to opponent with 3 open. Not the greatest thing, but it's just what happens here. So they are going to put 1 on leader and swing 6 at us. Now we can just use the Gina for that. They're going to minus our Reiju down by 1 and Kaku it. We are going to use our stage ability next, getting rid of the large Ichiji. We're going to grab another one, and we're also just going to probably play him out. Now, I wish I had a Porsche here, because if I did, I could have 3 extra Dawn. but instead we're just going to go ahead and play out the large Ichiji Dawn -1. We'll suit up from trash. We'll -2 to Fukuro because why not? And we'll draw another one. So we do have 2 here. We could play out the Reiju, but unfortunately we wouldn't get the card draw from it. So I don't think I will. I'll just be a little aggressive with protecting ourselves next turn. So we'll swing 7 with Ichiji. They'll take, and we'll put 2 on leader, and they're probably going to block with this Fukuro here, and they do, and then we'll pass to opponent. So moving into our 7 Dawn turn next is something to keep in mind. We should probably only minus once next turn, so we can play out the Judge. They're going to play out the Spandam, and they're going to draw the Lucci. They are going to use Ice Age for our Ichiji, and then play the Lucci, and we're probably going to see a 6-7 in the form of leader and Kaku, but I do have the counter for that, so I'm going to give it to him. So first, they're going to start off with this 7 here. I'm going to give him the Black Maria and the large Niji. Next is going to be a 6, and I'm going to give him the Reiju and the Queen. Now, I am giving up the Reiju here, too, just to have that in trash. We're going to go ahead and use our stage ability here to get rid of yet again another Niji for that. And we're going to grab a 2K here. Again, we only want a Dawn -1 once this turn. So yeah, we'll play out the Sora. We'll use card action, trash the large Niji, and grab the baby Niji, and we'll play him out as well. And we'll Dawn -1. We'll play the 1 from trash. We'll -2 to the Kaku. We draw into another Reiju. Now I could use that here, but again, I do want to play Judge next turn, so we'll keep things a little slower. We are going to start by just putting 1 here on the Reiju and swinging 6 another 4, which is going to need 2 cards. I don't mind that they gave that to us because that pretty much tells me that they're not going to have a hand for our subsequent Judge turn, and we'll float an extra Dawn here. So pretty good showing. We do have a 10 Dawn on an opponent's turn now. We're not going to be able to block out everything like we were able to last turn, so we might have to take a hit or 2 here deciding how they want to use this Dawn. So first, they're going to go ahead and put 3 on Lucci and 9K into our Ichiji. I don't mind. He's coming back next turn. They are going to go ahead and swing 8 at us. We're going to take that. And if they play 4 for Rebecca, that's fine, as long as it's not on the Spandam, because I don't want to keep countering all the time. So they do play out the Fukuro from trash and Rebecca here as well. We are going to start things off with the stage. We'll go ahead and trash the Reiju, grab another one for our troubles. Let's just make sure we got everything we need in here. I know we have the baby Reiju. I know we have the baby Ichiji. But unfortunately, we never saw the baby Niji, so we're not going to be able to get him out. We are going to play out the Judge now, use card action, Dawn -1, trash the Reiju, and trash the Reiju, and we're going to play out baby Reiju, and we're going to play out baby Ichiji, and that's going to be it from us as we draw into a 2K. We are going to use the baby Ichiji ability here to suit up, and -2K to the Rob Lucci, and then we are going to use our ability here for the Reiju and suit up to draw 2 more cards, and there's the Niji we needed. So we're going to start things off with a 5 to the Rob Lucci, try to clear their board here. They do give us a 2K for that, and next is going to be a 7 at it, which will probably get us to Rebecca, and we'll pass to opponent. So we do have 2 life, but a pretty good amount of cards in hand, but just 1 2K is not the greatest. They're going to put 3 here on their Lucci and swing 9 at us. We will take that. And they're going to put everything on leader and swing 12 at us, which is also fine because I do have these choppers. So we're going to go ahead and use ability here. We're going to get rid of one of these Nijis. We're going to draw into an Ichiji. Could have taken the Judge, but I think that's just too slow considering we're at 0 life. So next, let's just go ahead and clear board. We're going to do the 8K at the Rob Lucci, which we definitely see go away. Then we're going to go ahead. We have to play 2 choppers, so keep that in mind for 4 Dawn. We have 3 to play with here. We could do a 6 at lead. They take. They gave us all the 2Ks earlier, so we'll go ahead and do 7 next from Reiju. And we'll do 7 again with our Ichiji. And we'll go ahead and play out Chopper. And we'll go ahead and play out Chopper. So it's going to take them some some cards to get rid of these guys. I'm not going to be able to just do it for free, fortunately. So we do have a decent amount of counter in hand. Not the greatest, but the good news is there's no bricks. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8k counter. And they're going to need Dawn to get rid of these guys. So maybe we can get out of this. We'll see what happens. If they don't defeat us this turn, they're going to definitely feel my wrath next turn. They do draw the Tempest Kick from the Spandam, and they're going to minus 2k with it to the Tony Chopper. Next, they play out Spandine, and they're going to use the Lucci, and it's going to be probably a 10k from lead, which I have. So let's give them 2, 1, 1, 1, 1 here, and that's pretty much GG's. And they do concede, so pretty good showing from us. I'm glad that they went as aggressive as they did. We do have 10 Dawn, and it would have just been some crazy swings. It was going to top 3 here, see if we can get rid of that blocker, but we weren't going to draw any of the Nijis that we needed. He definitely let us down this game, man. I really wanted to see that Niji, and he was just hiding from us, but still really great showing. They didn't Gecko. They had another one on life here as well, but GG's to our opponent. Erdor is pretty interesting. Fukuro is pretty interesting, but we'll go ahead and move into our next game. All right, we will keep the ball rolling into the blue Boa. So they are going to decide to go second. We do have first here. I do have the baby Ichiji, but I am going to mulligan this just for a little bit more consistency. Now, we do have a turn 3 play, which is great to see, and we do have a pudding in case they decide to hoard cards, but they won't because they do want to have leader ability online. So they are going to play out the Tashigi, and then they'll play another one. So they'll grab a Sengoku and a Gravity Blade, which is not great. So we're going to go ahead and just put 3 on leader here and hope that they take it so we can put in them next turn and get rid of that Gravity Blade. And they do, so they're going to be at 8 cards now on 4 Dawn. We'll see what they decide to do here. They do play out the Sengoku and draw into the Jinbei. This is just another great value target for us to get rid of with the pudding. They're going to swing 5. I'm going to give them the Niji for this. And they do play out the Doflamingo blocker. So, right. We're going to move into 5. It's just going to be a pudding and a... Oh, no. We do have stage. So we'll play that first. We'll play out stage. And we'll remove Judge. I don't think we're going to need that as we draw into a large Ichiji, which is pretty great. Next is going to be pudding to get rid of that hand that they so carefully set up. And we'll swing 5 and lead here. Yeah, usually when I play Boa, they try to just counter out of everything. So I guess they didn't have the 2Ks for the 8 swing. Now we are going to move into 7 Dawn here. Hopefully we can filter out the Ichiji and grab a small one. They're going to swing 5 at us. I will take this, and we get the Ichiji off life, which is great. Next is going to be a 6, which I'm just going to take as well. I do want to try to see if we can bolster our hand here. We do have Porsche. They do send pudding back to our hand. Very bold of them to do that. We'll get rid of the large Ichiji, and we will grab ourselves a Reiju. Next is going to be a Porsche play. We'll play out Porsche for 3. We'll Dawn -1. We'll grab a second Porsche, which is also great. And we're going to play out the Ichiji when we'll suit up for him as well. And we'll -2 to the Doflamingo in case we do decide to clear that. What's great is we can just do that again. So we'll play out the Porsche. We'll Dawn -1. We do whiff the search, and we do see a large Ichiji go to the bottom of our deck. And we'll play out the Ichiji again, and we'll Dawn -1 to suit up into yet another one. And now that Doflamingo is at 0, so it will die to our 5k swing here. Next is going to be a 7 and then an 8. It was awesome seeing Porsche Ichiji. That doesn't happen a lot, so let's not take that for granted. We'll go ahead and swing 8 next, which they'll most likely take, and we'll pass. So they are going to be at 8 Dawn here. They could Gravity Blade our Porsches, which is fine by me because I don't have to worry about so much aggression to our faces. We're only at 2 life with 5 in hand, and not a 2k to be found. We are at 5 Dawn next turn. They're going to play out the Sengoku and do a little bit of searching. And let's see exactly what they drew into here. They do draw into the Doflamingo blocker. So Jinbei is probably going to put him onto the board. Just kidding. They play out the Law, which gets rid of one of our Porsches. Maybe I'll play that next turn and do a Reiju. Who knows? I'm feeling pretty good right now. They do put their Dawn on the Tashigi, and we'll give them the 1K for that. They're going to just go 5-5 next. Here's the Pudding. I don't really think I want to use that again. And then another 5. We're going to give them the Niji. So moving on to our turn here, we are going to just play Porsche again into Reiju. So we'll Dawn -1. We'll grab ourselves a 2K, and we'll play out Reiju. And we'll Dawn -1, and we'll play out large Reiju and draw 2, which is great. That I did see a chopper here because I was thinking about grabbing that off the Porsche. We'll use the stage, and we'll grab another 2K. Things are really looking great for us. So we're going to go ahead and start with a 5 to the Law. I do want to get rid of some of that aggression here. And this is still going to filter hand, which is great. So we'll throw another 5 at Law. They should give us another 1K for this. And then we'll throw 7 at Law, which will probably get rid of the Law. And we'll throw 7 again at Lead. And we will play out the Chopper over the Porsche here, just to ramp back one of those Dawn and get a blocker on the board. So that way they can't go super aggressive with these bodies here. And we do have double 2K now, which is nice to see. So we are going to move into 6 Dawn next turn. They might want to try to get rid of some of this board here with something like a Gravity Blade. They very well could even Red Rock one of these Ichijis, which I wouldn't blame them. They are going to play out the Law, and they're going to probably send Chopper back to hand. Just kidding, they sent the Reiju back to hand, and they do decide to Red Rock one of these Ichijis. So next is going to be a 5. We're going to give them the Reiju that they gave us graciously back to hand, and then another 5. Guess what? Here's another Reiju, and another 5. We're probably just going to give them. Do I want to give them Queen here? No, I'm going to give them the Niji here. I don't think we're going to need that. We'll filter out one of these queens that we drew, and we do grab another Reiju, which is great. So we'll probably just play that out here and Dawn -1 and suit up into another Reiju. And we do see a 4-cost Niji, but they did Red Rock that Ichiji. I'm sorry, that 4-cost Ichiji. They did Red Rock it, so we can't play it. We could play out a Porsche here again, just to have another body, but I think our bodies are looking fine. I think that with 4 Dawn, we could start donning up and getting rid of these bodies here, or we could just go face. So let's see. Yeah, we'll start things off with a 7 to the Law. And they give us Kaya, and they give us the Moria. So I'm actually going to start putting this aggression on Lead now. We'll put 7 to face. And we'll go 7 to face again. I don't mind if they keep these bodies up. I do have a blocker and 2 life. I don't think they're going to be able to get lethal next turn. And we still also have double 2K in hand. So they do take the last life, which is basically putting them in a position where, okay, trigger my Tony Chopper blocker, why don't you? I don't really mind too much. Having 2 bricks in hand isn't the greatest, but 2K, 2K, 1K, 1K, that still is 6K counter, so not too worried. They're going to start things off with a 7. I'll just take this one. We do draw into the Ichiji next. They're probably going to go another 7 here. Looks like they're going to have to go for lethal. We're going to go ahead and give them the 2K and the 1K. We'll probably see another 7 and then a 9 from leader, but we do have 7, so we'll give them that if that's what it is. They could go 8-8, but we also do have 8-8, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, so next is going to be just a 7, and I'll give them a 2 and a 1, and that's probably going to wrap things up for them as they do concede. They did have not the greatest counter hands. We were just going to put everything on Ichiji and swing it face anyway. So GG's to our opponent that was into the blue boa. They weren't running too much out of structure 17, and if they were, they didn't see it. Yeah, I'm not seeing any of the boas in here, like the boa blocker. But GG's, we'll go ahead and move into our final game next. Now we do have our final game here, everybody. We are going to be playing into the Pudding. I am going to decide to take first here because I know that that's what they want. We don't have the greatest hands. A lot of Foxy going on, so we're going to mulligan that. And we do see the Pudding. and the Porsche. Now, pudding might be good in this matchup if they decide to take. If we are going to go to 3, I might just swing 8 and see if we can get them to take that. Or I might play the Porsche depending on what we draw into. But if you are interested in seeing some pudding gameplay, I did just put out a pudding video that I am pretty happy with. So on 1 Dawn, we're going to go ahead and just pass. We don't have stage, which is unfortunate, but stage is a luxury sometimes. So they're going to play out the Searcher and grab a 10 Mom, and then they're going to play out a Searcher and grab the Peros Pero. So we do draw stage, so that's great. I'm actually going to play it out, and I'm going to get rid of one of these Reijus and draw into, ooh, I kind of want this Ichiji, but we should probably guarantee the card draw. So we'll take the baby Reiju, bottom decking 1 of our Ichijis. We are going to swing 5 at face here. We'll probably just counter out of that. Who knows? Maybe they don't have it. Maybe we got lucky. And they take it. That's great. So we'll play out the 2-cost Reiju, and we will suit up into the larger one, drawing us 3 cards. Man, I love seeing this Ichiji. I really wish I had the other one, but it's not like we would have even, gotten this if we didn't grab the Reiju anyway. So that's a price we have to pay. We're going to pass over to opponent here. They do have 8 cards in hand. They could play Peros Pero, but instead they do decide to play the Sanji, Don ×2 when attacking. They're going to add the top card of their hand, and they're going to filter, so they're going to swing 7 at us. I'm going to have to take this one. Yeah, we do get the Tony Chopper blocker, and we're going to move into 4 next turn. I'm definitely pudding. Or is puttying them a verb? I don't think that's real. We're going to go ahead and use the stage first to get rid of the large Ichiji and grab another one for our troubles. And here's a pudding. So we're going to go 5 at face. And they're going to give us a Katakuri. And we're going to swing another 5 here. Hopefully we didn't set them up with too much top end. But we do know that they had a guaranteed 10 Mom. So it's great to see that we got rid of that at least. So... oh, sometimes I really wish that the pudding was able to be played off the Porsche, but I think that would be busted, so I get it. So they're going to start by swinging 5 at us, and they're going to ramp. I don't know why they decided to do that, because they're going to be at 10 next turn anyway. I guess they wanted to see what they're working with here. We're going to give them the Niji for that. And they're going to put 2 here, and they're going to swing 5, and they're going to go ahead and grab that new gate back to hand and top deck onto life. We're going to give them the Reiju for this one. Sort of just protect our board here because they do only have 2 life 6 in hand. So what would be pretty great is to see the baby Ichiji. I really hope I do see him soon because then we're going to be able to get that 7K body out. Wow. Ask and you shall receive. We are going to go ahead and filter that guy out here. And we're going to draw into a Reiju. We're going to go ahead and play out the Porsche for 3. Dawn -1. We're going to grab a 2K because we don't have any other than the Sora. And we're going to play the baby Ichiji. We're going to Dawn -1 to suit up from trash. And I think we kind of want to just get rid of this Sanji here. You know what I could do? I could play out the Niji and send it back to their hand. Or just straight up KO it, which is I think is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and play out the Niji, Dawn -1 to suit up. And we're going to KO that Sanji, so we don't have to worry about him doing that anymore. So because of that, we're not able to swing with pudding, but I think a 5/5/7 is still going to be a lot for them to handle this turn. So we'll start things off with the 5. They do give us the new gate that they took off life. We're going to go ahead and swing 5 again here. They do give us a 2K because they know they're taking the 7. And that's exactly what they do, so we'll pass over. We do have 3 2Ks now, which is great. They are going to use the pudding into the 9 Mom, which I was pretty sure they were going to use, but they don't. They do play out the Viola instead. Now, the Viola is probably looking at our life and moving things around for us. With 7 Dawn, they probably could establish something else, or they could just go really crazy onto us. They do reorder our life, and yep, there's the new gate. And they do add the 9 Mom to the top of their deck, and they do place 1 from there as well. So they are going to go ahead and put 1 Dawn on leader and swing 6. I'm going to give them the Gina for this, and they'll probably swing 7 into the 5 as well. And I'm going to give them the Black Maria, and I'm going to give them the Queen. So what I could do here is just Dawn up everything and go crazy at face, which I'm pretty sure is what I'm going to do. I don't think they have what it takes to get out of that. with only 1 blocker, 4 cards in hand, 1 life. I'm pretty sure the writing is on the wall here, but I think they might know that as well. So they're thinking pretty heavily about what's going to happen to them next here, because there's not really anything else that they can do. They do pass, so we can go 7, 7, 7, 7, or I can go 6, 5. I think I'm just going to start off with the 5 and do that 6, 5. So next is going to be 5 from Pudding. And I'm not sure how much counter they really do have in hand, because I know one of those is a 9 mom. And then we're just going to go 7 from the Ichiji, which they very well might just block out of. And just to really not prolong things, we're just going to put our last 4 on the Niji here and swing 10 at face, which I'm pretty sure is going to get us there. Really great showing. I did grab the Niji from the top of the deck. Yeah, they didn't have enough for that. And that was it. So GG's to our opponent. They played pretty well. We just saw so much aggression, which is, you know, I think Pudding's downfall. But I do go over a little bit of that in my Pudding video. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and just say GG's to our opponent. And we'll go ahead and wrap things up and go back to the deck list and take one final look here. That is going to do it for us today with the blue-purple Reiju. I think this was a pretty great showing, really showcasing all the best parts of our deck. We were able to get out the Pudding. We were able to play out the Porsche combos into the Ichiji. I don't really think I used Queen too much, but there are times where you're going to need him. But worst case scenario, you know, he's a 1K, or you can filter him out with the stage. But very aggressive deck here. There is a little bit of a gamble when you need to find your pieces, because this is a very heavy combo-oriented deck. You're going to need a lot of small things to go into your big things, as you can see. But with the amount of digging that we do, it more times than not does happen. But keep in mind, you'll have those games where you're just not going to see the Niji or the Ichiji or the Reiju. They're going to hide from you. So, you know, play around that. Don't get greedy and hold on to a hand you think is just, you know, oh, this could be better. I mean, it's really pivotal to, you know, find the stage. It's pivotal to find the Porsche into the combos here. You just want to flood board, and you want to be able to make sure you protect life as much as you can, because you're drawing so much cards. So thanks again so much for stopping in. If you like this video and you want to see more videos, of course, like and subscribe, all that nonsense. But you have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to catching everybody in the next video.